Hey everyone, it's Mr. Forgione coming at you. Another video today, more supply and demand stuff. This is the part that gets a little bit tricky for people and where notes become really important. And memorizing the determinants of supply and demand become really important because now we don't really know whether the supply is changing or the demand is changing. It's up to us to kind of determine what exactly is happening. So hopefully you've got this. It's called shifts. Hopefully we've gone through this now. I made a mistake here. We really should have only gone through about the first five. The 6 through 10 are a little bit different concept, which I will get to. I promise I will get to those here as well. But let's just take a look at the first five to begin with. Okay. So we start off. We're kind of saying, what is it that changed here? Okay. And one thing real quick that I find helpful, I go ahead and draw the determinants, or I'm sorry, the determinants. I draw the graphs before we jump into the actual specifics. I go ahead and draw a plain old supply, demand, price, quantity for each of these. I just find it a little bit easier to go ahead and have that set up for when I'm ready to actually jump in and put the price P2, Q2, D2, or S2 on there. I like to go ahead and have this already set up. So the first one here, if we look at it, says the cost of hay used to feed cattle goes down. Okay, so what is it that changed? That's pretty simple. That's the cost is really what changed there. Okay, and we know cost, that ends up being supply. Anytime we talk cost, that's a supply issue. Since cost went down, supply is going to increase, which means that's going to be a rightward shift of the supply curve. So I'm going to come over here. I go to my equilibrium. I go, okay, it's going to be somewhere over here to the right. That's where I'm going to have to put that second supply curve. I make sure I label that S2. I come down here. I'm going to call it Q2 and P2. And so what I see is that the supply has increased, the quantity has increased, but the price has decreased. Okay, so quantity increase, price decrease. All right, now let's go over here. Price of other sandwiches. Okay, so off the top, I'm thinking if it's the price of another good, I'm usually thinking that's going to be demand, and in this case, that would be correct. It is going to be demand. Here, what I want to look at is other sandwiches. Are those going to be substitutes? Are those going to be complements? Well, the product in question is hamburgers. So price of another sandwich, maybe a sub or something like that, that's going to be a substitute. Okay, so what is it that changed here? It's the price of a substitute, and that is going to be demand. Now, since the price of a substitute went up, what's going to happen to demand for our hamburgers? Well, that's going to go up as well. I'm less likely to get that other sandwich since it's more expensive. I'll get the burger instead. So that is going to be an increase there for demand. So again, I'm going to shift the curve to the right. I'm going to draw a second demand curve here and make sure, again, one area that sometimes people get a little confused is I've seen sometimes where people will just draw this graph here for each of them. You're drawing a second line for either supply or demand. So if it's demand, you draw a second demand curve. If it's supply, you draw a second supply curve. We want to make sure we're clear on that. Then again, we go to the equilibrium. We've got an increase in quantity. We've got an increase in price. Okay, so that's what we're looking for there. Okay, on 3, as soon as we see this here, this new technology on here, that's going to tell me, boom, technology, that is going to be a supply issue, okay? That's going to be a supply issue. Now, I did not see, and guys, forgive me on this, I didn't realize I gave you a lot of multiple shifts here. I didn't realize taste shift away from food. Let me see here. Oh, okay, so guys, I screwed up a little bit on this one. This shouldn't have been multiple shifts. So I tell you what, let me just take you through the first one on here. And then what we can do is just look at the first of the shifts on each, and we'll kind of go from there, okay? All right, so supply, it is going to be a supply increase, so we're going to see the same thing that we saw in that first graph. We're going to have an increase here in supply, so we're going to shift the supply curve over. That's going to be an increase in quantity, and it's going to be a decrease in price here. Okay, so that's really what we're looking at for that first shift. And I tell you what, let me go through just the first shift on each of these, because I did not really mean to put multiple shifts on there. That's on me. That's completely my fault there. I kind of screwed that one up. Okay, so we'll just take a look at a few others, just the first shifts, and then we'll kind of go from there. All right, here it says a new tax is removed from fast food. Taxes are going to be supply. Okay, so tax would be supply. If a tax goes down, supply increases. That's going to be an increase here in supply. So same thing as several of the others. Price goes down, quantity goes up. All right, then we come over here. Scientists discover ground beef is a great protein for strength training. That is going to be a taste and preferences one. That's going to be demand. Okay, so what happens to demand for hamburgers? Well, that's going to go up if we find that this is going to be a great protein for strength training. So that's going to be an increase here. Demand increases, quantity increases, and our price increases as well. All right, so again, please forgive me, guys. I'm sorry. When I ran these, I didn't realize that I was doing multiple shifts on there. I thought it was just the one shift. Okay, so I'm going to leave off there for a second, just as far as the base concept for a second. And then I am going to have you guys do 6 through 10, and I'm actually going to do number 6 with you and show you how to do the multiple shifts. Okay, so I'll show you guys how to do the multiple shifts here in a sec. And again, please email me and let me know if you guys have questions. I wish I was in the classroom with you guys and was able to kind of help a little bit more, but the health issues persist. So if I get cleared, hopefully back next week, but we'll kind of wait and see. All right, let's see. So let's look at this one here, a multiple shift question, okay, and how we do multiple shifts. We're going to treat these essentially the same way as we treat the single shift. The main difference here, as far as how do we treat something like number 6, where there's 2 separate things, and again, really on some of these others, 4 and 5 were also multiple shifts. I just didn't realize it when I gave these to you. Let's take a look at 6 and see how do we handle this. Okay, what I would recommend is go ahead, draw supply, demand, price, quantity, and then if you did it in pen, take either a different colored pen or perhaps a pencil, and just something a little bit different maybe to do this second part. Okay, so here where it says which determinants change, we can do the same thing. We're going to take these one at a time. First off, income. That's what changed here, was income initially. And so we can look at that and go, okay, income, that's a demand issue. Income goes up. Steaks are inferior. Okay, that's fine, but what about burgers? Burgers are normal. Okay, well, if income went up, burgers are normal. That means demand for burgers is going up. I come over here. I'm going to draw a demand increase. Here's the difference. Here's the biggest thing if you're doing a multiple shift. Draw that D2 and then stop. Don't go to P and Q yet. Okay? So if it's a multiple shift like this, just do demand. Don't draw P and Q just yet. Let's wait and see what second part of this is. Okay, second part, it says also regulation on fast food restaurants increases. Okay, so regulation, that's going to be our second issue. Regulation is a supply issue. If regulation goes up, that means supply is going down. that means we're going to have to shift supply to the left. So let's come up here to my original equilibrium. I'm going to come somewhere over here to the left, and we're going to draw a separate supply curve. Call that S2. Okay. So now what I want to do, I've got like this weird diamond thing here in the middle, right? So what I want to try to do is go to one other equilibrium and compare where S and D are together and where S2 and D2 come together. So I want to go to that S2 and D2. And what I see here is that my price is going up, but man, my quantity looks like it's about the same. Well, that's by design. Anytime we do a multiple shift, what we're going to see is that between price and quantity, one variable is going to go up or go down. One variable we can look at definitively and say, yep, it does this. So in this case, we can say, yep, price went up. We definitively know that. What we don't know is what quantity has done, okay? We would want to say the quantity is ambiguous, or the quantity is indeterminate, or we don't really know what the quantity has done here, okay? And it's going to be like that for all of these shifts. Whenever there's multiple shifts, in some cases you're going to, or anytime there's multiple shifts, in some cases it's going to be price that you're going to be able to say went up, or price that went down, and the quantity is ambiguous. Other times you'll say the quantity went up or the quantity went down, and the price is ambiguous. But there's always one that we're not going to be able to really figure out. So that's kind of where we're at. Guys, give this a shot on 6 through 10. And I'll give you some additional practice on there as well, since, again, I kind of screwed this up. My apologies on that. I hope you guys will forgive me and be patient with me. I am trying my very best from home to get this stuff to you guys. Hope you all are doing well, and I hope to see you guys soon.